Operation Motorman was a large operation carried out by the British Army in Northern Ireland during the Troubles. The operation took place in the early hours of the 31st of July 1972 with the aim of retaking the no-go areas that had been established in Belfast, Derry and other large towns. Background: the Northern Ireland riots of August 1969 marked the beginning of the conflict known as the Troubles. As a result of the riots, Northern Ireland's two main cities, Belfast and Derry, had become more segregated than before. Many neighbourhoods became entirely Irish nationalist or entirely unionist. In some places, residents and paramilitaries built barricades to seal off and protect their neighbourhoods from incursions by the other side, the security forces of both. These became known as no-go areas. By the end of 1971, 29 barricades were in place to block access to what was known as Free Derry. 16 of them are impassable even to the British Army's 1-ton armoured vehicles. Many of the nationalist no-go areas were controlled by one of the two factions of the Irish Republican Army, the Provisional IRA and Official IRA. On the 29th of May 1972, the Official IRA called a ceasefire and vowed that it would not launch attacks except in self-defense. On the 21st of July 1972, in the space of 75 minutes, the Provisional IRA detonated 22 bombs in Belfast. 11 people were killed and 130 were injured. The attack prompted the British government to implement Operation Motorman. Just 10 days later, preparations. Operation Motorman was the biggest British military operation since the Suez Crisis of 1956 and the biggest in Ireland since the Irish War of Independence. In the days before the 31st of July, about 4,000 extra troops were brought into Northern Ireland. Almost 22,000 soldiers were involved, including 27 infantry and 2 armoured battalions, aided by 5,300 soldiers from the local Ulster Defence Regiment. Several Centurion Navy RE demolition vehicles, derived from the Centurion tank and fitted with bulldozer blades, were used. They were the only heavy armoured vehicles to be deployed operationally by the British Army in Northern Ireland during the Troubles. The tanks had been transported to Northern Ireland on board the amphibious landing ship HMS Fearless, and were operated with the turrets traversed to the rear and main guns covered by tarpaulins. This quick military build-up alerted the Provisional IRA and Official IRA that a major operation was being planned. According to local MP Ivan Cooper and others, the IRA left Derry's no-go areas the day before the operation. The operation began at about 4 a.m. on the 31st of July and lasted for a few hours. In no-go areas, such as Free Derry, sirens were sounded by residents to alert others of the incursion. The British Army used bulldozers and Centurion Navy REs to break through the barricades before flooding the no-go areas with troops in smaller, lighter armoured vehicles. The Provisional IRA and Official IRA were not equipped for open battle against such a large force and did not attempt to hold their ground. Small-scale operations were carried out in other places like Lurgan, Armagh, Coal Island and Newry. By the end of the day, Derry and Belfast had been cleared of no-go areas, but the army remained cautious when operating in staunchly Republican districts. Casualties during the operation: the British Army shot 4 people in Derry, killing a civilian and an unarmed IRA member. Daniel Hegarty, a 15-year-old Catholic civilian, was shot along with his 2 cousins as they walked along Cregan Heights in Derry. The boys had gone out to see the tanks and watch the operation unfold. The shots were fired from close range by soldiers who had hidden themselves behind a garden fence. Hegarty was shot twice in the head and was killed outright. One of his cousins, Christopher Hegarty, survived being struck in the head by a bullet. Seamus Bradley, a 19-year-old Provisional IRA member, was shot as he climbed a tree in Bishop's Field, Derry. Bradley was then taken away in a Saracen APC but bled to death before he could be treated. In Belfast, some arrests were made but no armed resistance was met. Aftermath. A few hours after the conclusion of Operation Motorman, the Claudy bombing occurred. 9 civilians were killed when 3 car bombs exploded on the main street of Claudy Village, County Londonderry. 5 of the victims were Catholic and 4 were Protestant.